Good evening, everyone. Have you ever thought about how your body will age? Somewhere between the age of 30 and 40, we start losing muscle mass at a rate of about 1% each year. That's normal. It's called sarcopenia. We get slower, we get more limited, and we get vulnerable to diseases. On top of these physical challenges, we also have mental and psychological challenges. Anxiety and depression are on the rise, and even now teenagers are now stressed. So, what if there was one habit, one practice that you can adopt to help you fight back, to help you stay strong? Would you do it? Let me introduce you to this key habit. It's called strength training. My personal story with strength training started when I was around 18 years old. I got out my mom's VHS cassettes from the 90s. And yes, it was ladies in the leotard suits doing, a lot of gymnastics. I moved on to YouTube, found a channel that I liked with coaches that I could relate to, who were doing a mix of body weight and dumbbells. At that rate, I was scared to bulk up if I did dumbbells. But at some point, the body weight got a bit, yeah, can do it, but what's next? So I started collecting dumbbells, much to the dismay of my sister, who had to find out that wrapping 10-kilo dumbbells in birthday paper is actually quite a challenge. Then one day, I said, there's so many people going to the gym. They're so cool. Can I do that too? So I got my other sister to take me on a trial day. And guess what? I survived. And I liked it. And I integrated machines into my strength training routine. I recently moved to France. New surroundings, new chapter of my life, a new language to communicate in. And I took up volleyball again and dropped the strength training. After a couple of weeks, I noticed that I was increasingly cranky. I was easily stressed. And even the winter at the Côte d'Azur was really gray. At that point, I talked to a friend. We talked about strength training and how we love it and what we do. And I noticed I haven't been doing that for a couple of weeks. So next day, I had to try a day at a gym. I went, I sweat, I came out, and you know what? There were colors at the Côte d'Azur again. I was a brand new person. It was amazing. I never went back to no strength training. So whether it's a good day, it's a bad day, whether I do body weight, I do dumbbells, I do machines, I immerse myself. I forget everything that's around me, and I feel my body in the movement. That is not to say that I manage to switch off my brain every time. Far from it. However, every time I come out, I feel better. I'm in a better mood. I feel strong to tackle life again. And life includes, going to the supermarket and carrying everything home in my arms because strength training does not make me remember to bring a bag to go shopping. So, I would like to invite you to a little experiment. I would like to invite you to close your eyes and imagine that you're lying on your back on the floor or on an exercise bench. You have a dumbbell in each hand at a weight where you said, that's gonna be tough. You breathe in, and on your exhale, you push up the dumbbells. And you notice, hey, this is actually not bad. I'm strong. I can do hard things. Next day, you're at the office. One email after the other coming in, piling in, deadlines, to-do list growing into infinity. And you go, uh-oh, heart rate rising, breathing, accelerating. And then you say, no, stop. I can do hard things. I got this. I've done harder things before. If you're German, you might say, things are not cooked as hot as they're eaten. Open your eyes. How do you feel? You feel better? Feel good? Feel strong? So why is it that strength training makes us feel good. On the one side, we have the obvious one, the physiological one. You make muscle. You grow muscle, which helps you be more stable and boosts your metabolism. And ladies, don't be afraid to touch dumbbells, and don't be afraid to bulk up. Bulking up is hard even for most men. But having more muscle has a preventative function. It prevents cancer, it prevents heart disease, it lowers level of inflammation. There's a lot of research on this, and it's super interesting. It also lowers the risk of osteoporosis because the stress on your bone makes your bone more dense. This is opposed to high levels of cardio, for example. If you do a lot of high-level cardio, your bone density actually decreases, leading to a higher risk of osteoporosis. And then there's fascinating research on a protein in the brain that's called brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF. This BDNF helps the brain health overall by helping with neuroplasticity, so how our brain evolves and develops and adapts to current circumstances. When you do strength training, and particularly when you do a position or you hold a position and you say, okay, I go 5 seconds longer. You know, when you hold a plank and you said, I can do 60 seconds, and after 30 you go like, but you hold it for 5 seconds longer. This is what really elevates BDNF. This is amazing for your brain. So let's take this to the other side. Mental and physiological benefits of strength training. As I said, BDNF is super for your brain. You get more memory, better concentration, and better attention. And you know this is something that's taken a great hit in our age of scrolling. But strength training also lowers the risk of Alzheimer's and dementia. Strength training helps you with or prevents depression and anxiety. And it helps us regulate our stress response. Why is that? Let's dig a little bit deeper into this. Why the stress response regulation? I already alluded to this earlier. When you do strength training, you put stress on your bones, but really you put stress on your body. Your body learns to deal with stress. This is how you adapt your body to stress. So next time you're stressed, your body knows your body can respond. Also, if you think about it, resistance training is really resilience training because you go through 3 steps, or 3 C's if you wish. The first is you become conscious because you're aware. You practice control. Control is key in resilience. You say, I am doing this now. The second C is confidence because you learn what you're capable of doing. You learn where your limits are, but you also learn to push. I can do this. The third C is really the growth mindset C, is the curiosity. Because you say, okay, I know I can do this, but maybe can I do this as well? This, by the way, is how I knew that I liked axe throwing, because strength training makes you really versatile. If you go through these 3 C's, you start seeing things that you previously would have seen as a threat, as a challenge, changing your entire attitude to what you're facing at this point. So, ladies and gentlemen, start lifting heavy things. Start lifting your own body weight. Start lifting dumbbells. If you don't lift dumbbells, lift bottles of laundry detergent or anything you can find. But start lifting. You'll be stronger, you'll be more balanced, and you will bend, but you will not break. Thank you.